Hi guys, it's Chris from CarTellNZ. I'm at Kinloch at the Kinloch Golf Course in Taupo, and I'll be heading back to Auckland today and reviewing a very special car. This is the 2019 Audi Q8. So there are three packages in terms of styling. You have standard, S-Line, and then the black styling package, which will give you different trims and different wheels, but we'll talk about that as we go. The first thing to note about this car is though, it's not a Q7. Audi are calling this the sexy SUV. That's what they're marketing it as, and to be honest, they've done a fairly good job. The thing about this car that's different about the Q7, the tech package is incredible, but there's a few major differences. It's 67mm shorter than the Q7. It's 40mm lower than the Q7, and it is 35mm wider, which means when you do the numbers, the space inside isn't too much different. But it is a very, very different looking car, almost coupe style. The first thing that Audi has done this year to this car, and this is the first car to have it, is all new 8-sided grille. It's menacing. It's just an impact statement on the front of your car. They've also introduced this mask through here. Now the mask, fairly hard to see I think, but it really just molds straight into the new LED lights. Color wise, if you get the standard package it comes in your car color, S-Line package it comes in a grey, and if you do the black styling package like this car has, you get black on the mask, black on the trims, black on the mirror, and black on the roof rails. Really, really nice look. Following into these beautiful LED lights. Now they've moved the high beam down below. These light up and do a little bit of a dance when you turn the car on. And I tell you what, we drove down here last night and we drove through some pretty horrible weather and an earthquake, believe it or not. All I could say is the automatic dip on the high beam is absolutely responsive, and the light these put out lights up the road. I've never seen better lights. Come on around here. So we have the 22s on this. Now as standard you have a 20, then the S-Line 21s. These are the 22s. I love these rims. They just float. I've seen a lot of reviews myself from the UK and people talk about the ride and they say, well, 22s, it's a bit rough. Look, I didn't feel it. Now maybe 21s would be a slightly better ride, but to be honest with you, I like the aesthetics of 22s and they really look brilliant on this car. Oh, here's the next major change for an SUV. Frameless glass. This is one of the features of cars that I truly love. It's front and rear, and when you put those windows down, this car, especially this rear spoiler, has a coupe look rather than a bulky SUV. Round to the rear, Audi's light bar. This light bar is a real feature of the car. We've been photographing it, we've been looking at it all week, and truly it stands out. And when you give it a little click and turn it on, it does a little dance for you. The boot, it's massive, absolutely massive. You can fit the family dog in this boot. Our dog is just having a rest here, but as you can see, rather large dog, fits quite easily. So before we head off, I do want to show you something which I obviously can't do while we're driving, and that is the space in the back. So the comparison of course of this car is the Q7, and with it 40mm shorter in the roof, I guess a lot of people will be wondering, you know, is there enough space? Well, I'm 5'10" and I can tell you I have plenty of space. And as for legroom, wonderful. Now the seats recline, they also slide forward, giving you a bigger boot space, but even fully forward, there's still, my knees aren't touching, I'm fairly comfortable. It's a wonderful, wonderful space back here. Now, 3 large adults, not so sure. Definitely a family of 5 is going to fit in here with no problems whatsoever. But you know what? As far as the back seat goes, I'm comfortable. The seats are plush. It's a really, really nice space to be in. So let's talk about price. The standard package, $149,900, so 150 grand. You can upgrade to the S-Line, and then you've got the black package on top, but basically the range is $150,000 to $170,000. Before we head off though, I do want to talk about some of the tech in this car. Now one of the things that Audi has done is added a mild hybrid system, and what that means is as the car is coasting, it shuts the engine down, which is of course great for fuel savings, but the other thing it does is it recharges the battery, and the battery is massive for the amount of tech in this car. The car itself comes with 3 digital screens. The first is the, well, fairly new virtual cockpit of Audi's, and you know, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing, particularly that navigation on the front screen. It also has a head-up display which features speed, lane assist, and navigation. But these two screens here are where the real tech is about. So we've got the standard things, your media, phone apps and everything, but in terms of car settings, lighting and vision, I mean, there are 30 different color choices that you can choose for the mood lighting in this car. Second thing I love is down the bottom here, you've got your heated seats and aircon and all that kind of stuff. Very easy to control. The last part though is the parking. Now, when you're parking a car of this size, you pretty much want as much aid as you can. This 3D version brings up the car and you can see it from every angle and above, and of course you've also got your view from above. I don't know how they do that. I truly don't. I know technology, I know there's cameras all around the car, I know the image is stitched together, but it is absolutely incredible. One thing I will say, a bit of a negative. There is a beautiful interior in this car, a lot of shiny black, and with all these digital screens you notice the fingerprints are everywhere. So all I suggest is keep yourself a little cloth in the car, because you will, if you're like me and you're a 46-year-old Virgo, this will bug the heck out of you. Okay, so let's talk about the driver assistance in this car. Now, the first one is lane assist. Now, as I've driven this car, there's a couple of times that I've tried lane assist, taken my hands off the steering wheel, it's seen a solid line, and right now like this, we have gone round a corner completely and it's creepy. However, there are times that it hasn't worked, but it's not the technology of Audi at fault, it's New Zealand roads. Lane assist only works if the lanes can be seen, and we have so many roads where they quite simply aren't well marked. So not something to rely on, but it is good technology in this car. The second thing we've got, well, that's obstacle avoidance, emergency braking. It works well if you get too close behind the car in front. It gives you a warning. In slower traffic, it's absolutely brilliant. I am a big fan of that. The third one, well, that's emergency assistance. So, should you remain unresponsive, take your hands off the wheel, fall asleep at the wheel, have a medical condition, the car will pull over, slow down and put the hazard lights on. Now, in New Zealand, right now we don't have Audi Connect. It's coming in early 2019, and when it comes, not only will it pull you over and put the hazards on, it will call 111 and give you a position. Can't wait to see that technology in its full effect. But you know what, the drive aids are there to assist you. They're certainly not to take over driving yet, but we'll see. So far though, quite impressed with the ones that it currently has. Right, let's talk about the ride of the car. This is a very large SUV, over 2 tons. And when I'm sitting here, it doesn't feel like it. Yes, it feels like a medium sedan, but certainly not a car of its size. It's a comfortable seat, it's a comfortable steering position, it's a comfortable steering wheel. I really do like the ergonomics of the car. In terms of settings, well, you've got 7 different ride settings. From dynamic, where it drops the car 40 millimeters, to off-road, which is probably never going to happen. But if it does, it'll raise the car 50 millimeters. So there is 90 millimeters of range within the 7 settings. It's pretty cool, and it is a lovely drive. I feel safe with the Quattro system. It corners well, no complaints. Okay guys, I know you can't see me that well. Obviously night is upon us and we're just about home, but it's a great time to show you the mood lighting. So I've set it up with red contours and blue surfaces. So I'll just flick around here and chuck it onto blue contours and surfaces. And there you go, there's a nice change, or we can go through to some greens, blues, yellows, whatever the mood, there's a colour for you. Nice touch. As well, we are back in Auckland, the end of our trip. In the past 30 hours we've driven 14 and a half. We've done just over 850 Ks and we've averaged 9.4 litres per 100 Ks. Sure, it's got power when you need it. It's a little bit niggly in the throttle, just a little bit at lower speeds, so around city driving, a little bit niggly, but on the open road, the power's there, it's smooth, it's responsive, beautiful engine. If you want the numbers on the engine, well, we've got 210 kilowatts, we've got 286 horsepower and 600 Newton meters of torque. You'll also ask me what's the 0 to 100 time, right? Who cares? This is a large SUV. If you want to worry about things like that, buy yourself a sports car. But this car can put you, your friends, a whole ton of stuff in the back, and you can go on the open road and truly see this country in comfort. It's a beautiful car, absolute pleasure to drive. Audi, thumbs up. The Q8 is a success in my opinion, and a beautiful looking SUV. Well, that's the 2019 Audi Q8 reviewed for New Zealand. As an automotive photographer, I get to see everything coming out first, so comment and let me know what you want to review next. Like, and we'd love you to subscribe. Join the cartel, and we'll see you in future episodes.